Hey everybody, Scott Walters. Welcome to the channel. I hope you're all doing great. Buckle up and strap in. I got a hard-hitting pull, no punches, no sugarcoating it, no rainbows and sunshine. I'm just going to give it to you and give it to you straight. And friends, millions and millions of people are in massive, massive trouble right now as this bubble is about to pop and their cost of living is based on bubble income. Today, we're going to talk to Travis, one of my great friends in the real estate space here on YouTube. Travis, welcome to the channel.
Hey, Scott. Hey, thanks for having me again, brother. I'm looking forward to this subject, and it is going to be absolutely bonkers, and you know that.
Oh, I love that one. Absolutely bonkers. You know, that's such a cool one. Travis and I have become fast friends because, you know, one of the things Travis and I were talking before the show, and we try to be color commentary, but also communicate the magnitude of what just happened. And we all know what just happened. If you're new, please subscribe right away. There's never been a more important time to get ahead of the curve, forward thinking, critical thinking. But one of the things, Travis, that's going on right now that I'm seeing in the industry, and I know you work active in the industry as an instructor as well, is anytime there's a boom in the real estate market, in the industry, when we have a boom, it attracts new agents. They come flooding in, and to get licensed, and pass a license, get on board with a brokerage, it'll be at least on average maybe 6 months from when you start taking courses to getting licensed to joining a brokerage or getting trained to going out and trying to do work. The majority of people that get licensed don't even make it. Now what they had was the complete rug pull. They're entering a market where sales is drying up. Do you have and I got something better for us too, but we'll start with that, Travis. What's your thoughts on that, my friend?
Well, there's a couple sides of the coin because I have empathy for new agents that hustle. So the first side of the coin, Scott, it's expensive being a realtor, right? So I have an empathy for them, like people that can't close right now. It's hard to maintain your license. We have so many subscriptions, so many continuing education requirements. So my heart goes out to those realtors, but you know, they're in for a rude awakening, brother. And for me personally, and I hate to say it like this, we need to trim the fat. There are so many people that come back into the market when things are going phenomenal. Right. So, you know, the new agents that come in that market during the hysteria, during, you know, the peak of everything, it's not realistic. You can't make money that way. So when it ends, when the business slows down, it's going to trim a lot of that fat off. And you know that, you know, to be a realtor is a huge responsibility. It's a huge transaction. And, you know, quite frankly, man, we need less rookies per se, and we need more experienced realtors. And, you know, being an instructor, going around to market centers, I definitely can tell that there's a lot less realtors that are coming to class. There's a lot less realtors that are in a market center. And, you know, a lot of people are struggling, quite frankly, that are in, you know, realty.
No, I appreciate that. Really good feedback. You know, one of the and if you're a new agent, please listen up because we're here to help you. Of course, the realities are when I got into real estate, I was told a couple things. One, make sure you have about a year's worth of cash reserves to carry yourself because it's going to take at least a year before you start seeing maybe some income come in. About 5% of realtors are actually getting rich. The rest, the 95%, are maybe making a living or some variation of that. The other thing I was told, and this is what I did, is I found the hottest broker, the highest producing broker in my area, and I offered to work for them for free. I went and said, I will be your intern. I will work for free. I just want to learn. So I got immediately thrown onto high dollar real estate, you know, holding open houses of luxury properties. And, you know, I think that's one of the attraction to real estate is we see it as this glamorous job. It's so glamorous. I get to drive up in my nice car and show these $1 million listings. Listen, I showed mobile homes. I showed, you know, trash. I showed a lot of stuff, but I was so determined to make it in real estate. I would do anything. No deal was too small. No deal was too big. So it's really that determination. So like you said, you know, if you're new, if you're determined, you're going to make it. Most people drop out because eventually you got to pay your bills. And if you're there, you're not paying your bills. You just got to, you know, you're going to get discouraged and leave the industry. And that's what happens with the majority of people that get licensed. So just understand that. Now, what are we seeing right now, Travis? The biggest artificially created housing bubble, courtesy of a health crisis, a once in a lifetime, a once in a century event. I think people are dismissing this or just don't have the wherewithal to really understand how we got here. And that is dangerous. This is exhibiting some massive, massive dangerous behavior. And that's why I think your channel and hopefully this channel alike have done well, because we came on early and started warning people, listen, this is I don't care what caused it. This is a housing bubble. And bubbles historically do what? They pop. And now we're seeing the air being let out of this one. The federal government has created that two-headed monster with runaway inflation and a risen interest rate environment. We're teetering on a razor's edge. So, Travis, I got my second question for you today, my friend. Whew, this is insane, the stuff we have to talk about.
Yeah.
My gosh. So I also see a lot of people in the industry, and I'm not just talking the real estate industry. It could be mortgages, it could be construction, it could be engineering, it could be any most businesses revolve in or around property management, in or around real estate. Well, a lot of people made more money during the pandemic. Most of us can attest to that. Made so much money during the pandemic for 2 or 3 years straight. And then we felt rich. And what did we do? We went and pulled new debt. We went and bought at the height of a real estate bubble, bought a Tesla, bought a house, got fully leveraged based on this artificial income, maybe a couple years worth of tax returns that showed, hey, I'm making bank right now. This is going to continue forever. The people that drank the Kool-Aid, Travis, are massively exposed right now. I know you're also a loan officer. Do you have any feedback on my thought around this?
I mean, I think that I love hearing from you, dude. You're always forward thinking. You know, it hit my soul when you said it. It hit my soul because the predominant amount of my career has been analyzing income, right? Analyzing income. And, you know, post Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform Act, there's now qualified mortgages. Qualified mortgages set very rigorous income verification standards. So what happens now that people aren't making crazy money, if you're self-employed and you file a Schedule C on your tax return, if you have up to about, it depends on underwriting and if it's a loan prospector or desktop underwriter and other compensating factors, but generally, if you have a 20% decline in gross sales or gross income, you can no longer use that income as qualifying income for a mortgage loan. So personally, I'm a little bit worried that if you're, you know, and this goes if you're a realtor, like, you know, whatever you are, if you're self-employed and not on a W-2 income, if you made 20% less this year and you show that on your taxes under gross sales or gross income, a lot of times you can't even use it for a loan. So, you know, people ask me all the time, Scott, you know, are lending standards tightening or lending standards tightening? The thing is, they're already tight. So they don't need to tighten anymore. This whiplash, it's pricing out people. It's pricing out people. It's pricing out realtors, pricing out the self-employed. I mean, it's bad, man. What we went through the last 2 years is not seasonal. It's not normal. It's because of the Federal Reserve. And like you said, a health crisis. It's absolutely outrageous, man.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Travis. No, I mean, that was great stuff. Thank you for sharing a little bit of your knowledge when it comes to, you know, the lending industry. You've seen this stuff before. You know how a lot of the inner workings of the lending industry work, where a lot of us really don't. Like me, I'm a trained salesman, right? I'm geared to train to sell real estate. One of the things that I personally, and I think that's one of the reasons my subscribers appreciate me so much, is I came to the channel. I said, listen, I will earn your business later. I'm willing to earn your business later. If you think, I personally am on the sidelines, if this is why. Now, I didn't discourage everybody from buying. Of course, if I get a call from a millionaire that's got a lot of cash and they want to go buy, I'm not going to talk them out of that sale. But when I see first-time home buyers coming in with minimum amounts down, that scares me because we're in a bubble. So one of the things why I wanted to ask that question, Travis, there's a lot of people right now that got underneath new debt that are now running on fumes. They're dipping into their savings to supplement their income because their income can't keep up with inflation and their income has been reduced. Let me just tell you, from somebody that went to doing a massive amount of transactions, like not even seeing people selling houses remotely, not even having inspections or appraisal, stupid stuff like that done. Now that stuff has changed. You're working harder again to get a listing, and people are desperate. Like I reported on before, I see new agents just landing in the office like a deer in the headlights. And the advice that they're getting primarily is reach out to other agents and ask if you can hold their open houses. Like they don't know what to do. They're just like, stick me on an open house. Which is great. If you're a new agent, find the hottest agent, go hold their open houses if they'll let you. Like for me, I have a team. I'm very picky and choosy. I'm not just going to let any Yahoo walk onto my open house. And my client might get pissed at me. They're like, dude, what do you got this newbie on my house for? Like, I interviewed with you. I want you on this property, Scott. Okay, I'll get to the property. So, I mean, but that's one of the things. So Travis, one of the things that's kind of scaring me right now, for lack of a better choice of words, and I don't want to use the word scared because I like to remain just a level-headed realist, temperature checking and heat mapping the environment that I'm playing in. And this is a very serious situation. I think most of us are starting to see the severity of that now, whether it's political, financial, economics, you name it. Everything has got some potential to be a knockout blow to this economy. But one of the things I see now, people got underneath massive payments. A lot of people got underneath massive payments based on pandemic income that is no longer there. And with runaway inflation, they're supplementing their cost of living with their savings account, which is what's going to happen next. Credit cards. They're going to start leaning on credit cards. I have a feeling that this could, in fact, just blow up in the financial system space again, like we saw in 2008, where we had to bail out the financial system. We have, you might know this, Travis, I think we have like the most debt that's we've ever seen in world history currently out there floating around right now, a huge debt bubble.
So, man, and I'm glad you brought the debt bubble up. It's massive. It's bad. And just to touch on your point, so 2008 financial crisis from residential lending, right? 2022 financial crisis from auto loans, credit card debt, things of that nature. And case in point, what you're saying, there's so much emotion out there. You know, I think what ends up happening, Scott, for example, with me, I had a foreclosure in 2008, but I also went into bankruptcy, which messed me up even more. And why I had to go bankruptcy, I was getting in so much credit card debt trying to survive. I was postponing the fact that I could no longer afford to keep my house in Southern California. I had a condo in Southern California. So what I should have done, sold, moved, reset, right? I didn't do that. I don't know if it was pride, delusion. I don't know what it was, man.
No, you know what it was, Travis? I had millions of people. I heard the same story you just told me. My best friend had the same exact thing happen to him, and he was a realtor.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened to him. Foreclose the house, his file bankruptcy to get out of the credit card and car payments or whatever he had. This is what happened to a lot of people. So you're not alone. What I appreciate about you, my friend, successful, lived on a golf course home, lost it all, divorce, everything fell apart. You dug your way out. And this is the thing, my friends. That's why I really hope you guys know it hasn't been all rainbows and sunshine for me as well. I've had to climb out of the gutter and reinvent myself before. I know what that's like. Everything that happens to me moving forward is just icing on the cake, to be quite frank, and so I really appreciate when I hear somebody that had to dig themselves out, take some lumps, came back the other end. And I bet you one thing, Travis, because I say this a lot on my channel, and it's going to surprise me if it's not your mindset, because I know you're the real estate mindset, and it's just as much about mindset as it is about real estate. You don't necessarily regret the past because you've learned so much this time going around. You're like valuable, but you certainly don't want to repeat it, do you?
Well, brother, I can feel it. I still remember being forced on the sideline in 2009, and I remember the feeling of jealousy. I remember the feeling of jealousy because I had just lost everything, and immediately after, best buying opportunities ever.
In fact, I got to talk about this one. This is awesome. I don't think we've talked about this one. And you subscribe, the viewers, you're going to love this. So back when let's say 2009, you're like, gosh, now these houses, this is the time to buy. Pennies on the dollar, and I can't. Everything's screwed up. Credit's done, bankruptcy, foreclosure. I was not too far from that myself. there was something, and I almost did it myself. So there was something called the buy and bail going on in the last about 09. So let's say you were on this, you had that happen to you, or no, I'm sorry. It was called the buy and bail. What you would do during the buy and bail, you were underneath an upside down house. You still had your job. You could still make the payment. Your credit's still intact. Let's say you got, you know, and then what people are doing are seeing their neighbors or neighboring houses selling for half of what their house was. They paid for their house. So what they do, they got the wife or the mom or the dad or the uncle or the cousin or somebody else to qualify for the loan, buy the house, transfer title, and then leave the keys under the mat on the other house and walk away from it and let it foreclose. Listen, where I live for $1 million district, let's say you had $1 million property and you could buy it for 500 grand. You could go buy and then bail from the other house and you know, basically do it for $500,000 less. You're going to take a hit on your credit score, but for $500,000, people were doing that. It was called the buy and bail. Did you ever hear of that?
Dude, there was so much fraud, Scott. There was so much fraud. I don't even, I was,
yeah,
I mean, dude. So I remember when I first was, because I got started when I was 18, right? I got started, dude. I made $1 million by the age of 23. I flipped my first, dude. I was a beast, lost everything. I remember in my broker shop back in 2006, some dude somehow got into the broker shop, right? And started going around to the bullpen. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone, all the hustlers, and started selling fraudulent bank statements for $500.
Insane.
There was so much fraud, but anyways, but I mean, honestly though, Scott, just to finish, go back on the question you asked me. The other thing that I learned, empathy. I am so freaking glad that I am not like I was in the past. You wouldn't even like me, man. You know, I was so caught up with the love of money. I forgot how to be happy, dude. I forgot. I made $1 million. I made all this money, but I was so unhappy. So I wouldn't change it. But brother, it hurt. You know.
No, I
It
feel
hurt
you. I mean,
bad.
here's the thing. When you're young, I was that too. You're money motivated.
Yeah.
You're willing to step on whoever you need to step on to make it. And let me just tell you, I always say this on the channel. I'll just use it. My rewards in life are in direct proportion to my contribution. It is so important that I work ethically, honestly. Hey, it's not about the money for me. The money comes automatically now. It's so crazy because when I'm just trying to get you to buy, and I've got a script to handle objectives and get you to buy, walking you off a cliff, that's not helping people.
Nope.
That's not helping people. So, you know, like you said, I mean, that's, you know, there was a lot of stuff. We're going to see that potentially again. History doesn't necessarily repeat itself, but it does rhyme. The realities are, and this is the comment I saw early on when I started reporting that we were in a real estate bubble, and you might want to be careful in these times. This time is different. This time is different. The last time was loose lending. Loans are much stronger now. And my response was then, and it'll continue to be, it doesn't matter how you found yourself in a real estate bubble. The facts are, we're in one. So, you know, and historically, not one or two times, 100% of the times, anytime the real estate market has found itself into a bubble, they've in fact crashed. So I really appreciate you. You know, like you said, we get out of the problem and in the solution. The first step of getting past the problem, admit there's a problem. Well, we got to identify the problem, acknowledge the problem, and then move away from the problem. So that's what we tend to do. I know that's what I see out of your channel. You continue to ring the bell and sound the alarm and let people know this is a problem. But if we get in front of it by monitoring data, your local housing market, you've got a target, you know, a price per square foot. You want to see your local market hit, and you're potentially going to go fund your loan and go out there and start wheeling and dealing and writing offers. You know what I tell people, and I'll tell you this, Travis, if and when you go out and do what I just said, start making offers on homes. You know what I tell my clients right now? Don't fall in love with anything I show you. Don't fall in love. Because as soon as you fall in love with the home, guess what happens? They got us. They got us. So, you know, we want to get deals. We want to find the people that are motivated, going through price reductions, and then write in a few more of our own on those offers. And if they don't stick, we're on to the next one. Like you say, what's coming in a big way right now, Travis? Inventory. You're seeing a lot of inventory, aren't you, Travis?
So, man, I mean, and that's okay. So, dude, I can go on and on. So you're in Cali, and I know that Cali is a completely different market, but in my own local market, inventory has exploded triple digits. National average inventory from February up 98%. So the emotion part about buying a house is so freaking expensive for first timers, man. They got to be more logical. Don't fall in love with the house. Go at it from, and I know there's a pride of ownership, and I like it, and some people, have that pride, and it's okay to have that pride, but don't be so emotional and don't fall so in love that you're going to get taken advantage of, because realtors want to close transactions. Right. So they're only going to give you, so much information. So inventory is exploding. So everyone that's been waiting, it's going to be easier for them not to fall in love because there's more houses. So, I mean, there's so many reasons, Scott, that right now, the longer we wait, the better the deal.
Absolutely. No, I think that's kind of hit the nail on the head, Travis. If you've been on the sidelines this far, you may as well stay on the sidelines a little longer. Listen, I remember in the last bubble, a lot of the things that are being said right now were being said in that one too. A lot of people called people crazy for saying the bubble wouldn't sustain itself. We're seeing a lot of the same things. The one thing about this bubble, it was the biggest bubble ever produced in world history, and that means the fastest appreciation ever recorded to never seen before, all-time highs. And the way it was constructed through artificial market manipulation, making real estate agents essential in a health crisis and dropping rates was crazy. They overstimulated the one thing they shouldn't have, the real estate industry. They could have got away with a lot of the other stimulus stuff, unemployment benefits, mortgage forbearance, eviction bans, maybe even some of that stuff. But when you made agents essential and dropped those rates and then kicked the can too far down the road and let it go and not stop it as soon, it was almost like, I would say, I don't know if it was on accident or on purpose, like, because who would make that big of a mistake? Like you always say, some of the most brilliant minds, supposedly, that we have couldn't see this one coming. I don't know.
So, dude, so I asked myself that, Scott, because I'm not that smart. I'm not even that smart, bro.
Yeah, you are. You stop it, Travis.
All right, I appreciate it. I mean, it's more logic, man. I mean, I've been through so much. I've helped so many people. And I think I think here's the thing, exactly what you just said. We have a similar size bubble as the last one in half the time through this artificially stemming, like why people can't see that. The only thing I can think of, Scott, because I ask myself all the time, how could you not know that? How could you not see that? I think what's happening here is there's so many people that look at what happened the last 2 years as a normal cycle in the housing market, and that's where it's going to adjust to. In order to understand what's happening right now, you have to first understand that it's not normal. So in my opinion, that's why Zillow, Redfin, CoreLogic, everyone's getting this wrong, because they're not saying, oh, it was a bubble in less than 2 years. Oh, we're probably in a recession, layoffs. There's so many things that people, in my opinion, are doing wrong because they just look at the last 2 years as normal seasonal real estate. Big mistake.
Insane. No, you're right. And I made a video on this recently, Travis. I think what we're going to see as we're forward thinking, critical thinking, reading between the lines and looking between the cracks. So Zillow, Redfin, Opendoor, all these companies basically grew on becoming a search engine. Then they they got greedy. They didn't want to be a search engine anymore and just have a captured audience and maybe sell ad space on their websites for the amount of traffic they had. They wanted to start employing agents. They wanted to become a brokerage. They wanted to make buying houses as easy as clicking a button. And that might work in an artificially created market, but in a normal market, it ain't working. You need boots on the ground. This is real estate. This is land. You got to put feet on the ground. So, what I think out of them, well, first of all, the data that they're being forced to feed us now shows the downturn, right? And so now they're trying to be transparent. Now they want to be transparent, where they could have maybe issued a warning along with the data they were providing, saying, hey, this is the data. It's insane. It may not sustain itself. This is pandemic driven. I didn't hear one website utter those words. But here's the thing, Travis, this is the kicker for me right now. This is what I meant to say, but it's so hard for me to hold my train of thought because it's so multi-layered.
Yeah.
What you're going to see next, and I know I have a lot of viewers, when's the foreclosures coming, Scott? I want to buy me some foreclosures. Pennies on the dollar, Scott. You said it. I want it. I get emails all the time of people, because I tell people, if you need agent representation, I'll help. I got a network. We'll help you. Top agents. I'm ready to buy in a year, Scott. Don't email me that you want to buy when we all want to buy in a year when that crash happens. You email me when you see prices get to where you need them to get. But this is what's going to happen. Zillow, Opendoor, Redfin, Realtor, all the big heavy hitter websites, they're going to start selling clickbait saying, click here for a list of foreclosures in your area. That's what happened on the last one. And you don't need to pay for a list of foreclosures in your area. They're going to try to get people, they're going to, like you said, they have a vested interest in this real estate bubble. When it flips, they're not in their conference rooms talking about how the bubble is going to continue to go forever. They're talking about the opposite. How can we maximize the downturn? Let's sell foreclosure lists. We'll
100%.
get these dummies to click for a list, and then we'll charge them some subscription price. They don't need to do that, Travis. But Travis, forward thinking, critical thinking, will you be surprised if you see Zillow and the other big heavy websites starting to promote click here for a list of foreclosures?
Dude, here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. And I tell it to all the first, all the viewers on my channel. These people, Zillow, Redfin, Opendoor, they're not stupid. Well, okay. I got to be careful. Maybe they're a little stupid, whatever. How did they not see this coming? How did they lose all this money, right? So there's that. They messed up. But, they're smart enough to know, Scott. They know what's around the corner. They're not saying it. They have so much influence. They're saying, by the way, Zillow just drastically reduced their forecast. I just read that article today. They've drastically reduced it. They've now acknowledged month over month price decline. Zillow, these guys are preparing. Blackstone, BlackRock, they are waiting for an optimal time, right? They're saying, yeah, maybe right now, maybe not buy. Why would we buy? It's at the peak. We're in a bubble. These guys are waiting to swoop into the market when it's near the bottom. And part of that is going to be marketing. They're going to sell the foreclosure list. They're probably going to get back into lending, saying, prevent foreclosure with Zillow prevention line. You know what I mean?
No, totally right. No,
they're going to put their hand right back into the cookie jar as if they've done nothing wrong.
Criminal, borderline criminal. And that you raised a great topic, and you guys watching today, I know a lot of you are like, Scott, I want to get ahead of these BlackRocks and Blackstones because they're going to scoop up all these foreclosures. There'll be none left for us. No, they can't. Here's the first thing, friends. You don't need to pay for a list. All you need is an agent. If you have an agent, and you need a foreclosure crisis, not just some trickling in. It has to be a foreclosure crisis where the banks are overwhelmed and they start to fail. And there's more foreclosures than anybody can handle. And BlackRock and Blackstone won't be able to buy them all up. I can guarantee you, they'll be lucky if they can weather the storm because they're holding so much debt themselves.
Bingo. Yes.
So don't worry about that. And to order, for my opinion, this is just me. Like you said, I'm just some guy, has enough intellect to be able to formulate the thoughts that I have so far. The one thing I will say is once the foreclosure crisis gets into full swing, that's when you start looking. That's when you get your agent. The foreclosure will have agent representation. The bank will employ an agent like me. Hey, Scott, we've got 1,000 foreclosures. Would you like your team? Can your team handle them? There'll be companies that will assemble to handle the bank's foreclosures. And then you'll get this guy like Travis or me or an agent that you know and trust that hopefully is not in worse shape than you going through foreclosure themselves. And you'll go write offers on foreclosures just like you'd write offers today. It's more work for the agent because the paperwork and the offers are different than a traditional sale. But that's in fact what's going on. BlackRock and Blackstone we're not going to be able to buy up all the foreclosures in a foreclosure crisis. There's plenty to go around. Plenty.
Yeah.
My opinion.
Dude, my point is like, don't drag your feet. Like they can't take, dude. I mean, they got to share, man. I mean, it's scary, but I mean, there's going to be so many opportunities for so many people, especially if you're preparing. If you're not preparing and you get blindsided somehow, right? If you get blindsided, like, oh, wow, the housing market just crashed. Maybe now I should start the process of qualifying for a home. I'm saying don't do that because we may only have a buying opportunity 2 years. Maybe it'll be 7 years, but plan for a small window. Start right now, right? Because I guarantee they're starting, they're starting, and I want, it's just, Scott, it's crazy, man. These first time home buyers, dude, there's so much emotion. There's so much emotion in their households and their minds. There's so many people saying different things. I have a lot of empathy for it, because who do you listen to as a first time home buyer?
Well, I'll tell you, Travis, and we'll start. This is great. This is good stuff. We'll start to wrap it up if we can. But one of the things that you just said is most people don't see this one coming. Just like you did back in 08, you didn't see it coming. Just like I didn't back in 08. Very few people saw it coming. The majority of people out there right now, and this isn't just in America, every real estate market in the world is going through some version of what we're going through now.
Yeah.
So the realities are, most people are just figuring out how to put gas in the car and keep a roof over their head. They're not, and they don't have no idea of what's potentially coming. So congratulations to anybody that's been able to stick around channels like Travis at the Real Estate Mindset and this one, because when it happens, you'll be a little less blindsided, because at least you've acknowledged it. Now, like Travis was saying, prepare. What I suggest how we prepare is go ahead and, like Travis does, monitor your local market. What are watchers doing? Play on some of these websites like you were going to buy, pretending, educating yourself. If you start to gravitate towards your end goal, it all starts that simple. Now, personally, Travis, what I like to recommend people to do, I have a lot of mindset stuff, of course, I share on this channel as well. I should be the real estate mindset, maybe. But I always say it's not as important to own where you live. It's just important to own. Get a couple partners together, pool your money together, go buy a rental property, put your pinky toe in, basically minimize risk and try this out for yourself. You don't have to go all in. Maybe have a partner, do an equity share. Hey, we'll both make the down payment. I'll live in it, make the payment, you make the down, whatever, some version you can, then we'll sell after a couple of years. So, and then the number one advice I really love to give is, if you're a first time home buyer and you're looking at a house and you see what your potential payment's going to be based on whatever down payment that you have, then go ahead and check the property's rent range, even though it's not going to be a rental, because you want your payment to be in or around the property's rent range, just in case you'd like to climb the property ladder and become a millionaire in real estate later. You know that you can live in it for a few years, then put a renter in it, and you go buy your next house, and do that a handful of times. You don't have to own 100 doors. You don't want to own 100 doors. You want to own a handful of doors so you can create manageability and make enough money to have financial freedom to quit your day job and ride off into the sunset. If you sound like that's for you, I think you found the right channels to watch.
Yeah, dude. I mean, so make no mistake, right? Real estate will make you rich. Real estate is traditionally one of the most solid investments that you can ever make as a family, as an individual. And there's been statistics on this, Scott, like if you retirement age, like if you own a home and you retire, you end up with like 260,000. If you don't own a home, you end up with 6,000. So there's so many reasons why buying real estate is smart. Scott and I are only saying right now, just at this current time, a brief blip, a small amount of time, step back, right? See what happens before you just go jumping in. Are we in the bubble now? Are we not in the bubble, right? Let the dust settle. Let the foreclosures hit the market, which in my opinion is going to start in 2023. See what happens. See if we continue to get these price cuts. And here's another one. Let me give people a little bit of lending advice here. A 203K loan. A 203K loan allows you to purchase a primary residence that needs upgrades, but the loan gives you the money for the upgrades. So you can get loans that include essentially a home improvement loan within the loan. That's called an FHA 203K. If I can do everything over again, Scott, as a first-time homeowner, I'm doing a 203K and I'm turning it into a rental. I'm doing that 3 times and I'm done. I'm doing it 3 times. I'm done. But I got children now, brother. I can't have.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, I mean, but no, thank you, Travis. That is awesome. Really good advice. Please check out Travis's channel. There'll be a link in the description below. You are going to want to know how to approach the loan. Most agents just throw you in the hands of some lender and they send them back once they get pre-qualified for whatever price range you've qualified for. They're not checking, you know, what your payment is. They just want to know what they qualify. Give them back to me. I'm going to show them houses, and they're going to FOMO them into a purchase. So please take a look at Travis, because Travis is basically multi-layered. He's the triple threat. You know, he's an agent, he's licensed, he's also an instructor. He instructs other new agents on how to be, you know, get their social media up and running and whatever else they have them doing. And he's also very experienced in the lending side. He is the triple threat. Travis, thank you so much.
Yes,
I know we
sir.
only scratched the surface. I mean, when we get together, I could go for an hour, right?
I
There's
know.
so much I wanted to cover, but hopefully that'll entice us to do more of these.
Yes.
So I really, really, is there anything you'd like to say to the people watching today before you go?
Things are going to get absolutely bonkers. That's all I have to say, brother. I'm sorry.
Insanity. This stuff's insanity. Buckle up and
Shameless.
strap in. Yeah, absolutely. Because Travis, stay with me on the screen. Everybody, thank you for watching today. We really do appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Before you go, please give the video a like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Social media links are in the description of this video if you'd like to contact me there, along with links to channels I've appeared on, including Travis's. I think you might enjoy. If you're interested in buying or selling real estate today, not tomorrow, not next week, not next year when the crash, there's an email for you. Monitor your local market. When you're ready for an agent, I should be able to get you into the hands of a top producing agent in the nation who would love to assist you. And as always, thank you for your time today. Please go make it count. I'll see you on the next video.